Hello everyone and welcome back to our little Chia experiment on our Witness channel. We will talk about improving security on a Ubuntu server today. So welcome to the dark world of the paranoid. We will show you how to install a EdDsa key and how to use it to log into your Ubuntu machine and how to eliminate any password login from a terminal which is not the console, so you will still be able to log into your server via password from the console, but you will have no terminal access to your machine anymore. So what you need to do is you need to have an elevated user in place. So we will eliminate root login as well. So if you're running Ubuntu, that should be the standard anyway. But if you're running any other Linux version than Ubuntu, you might want to disable the root login. And that means if you still have root login, the only advice I can give you is please disconnect your machine and disable the root login. First of all, install a user with elevated privileges and then disable root login. Because if you have password and root login, chances are pretty high that people will try to just guess your password and given that usually there is where a will is, there is a bush. There is a chance they might find out. So the securest way to run your server is just eliminate root login, eliminate password login, and that is exactly what we will do in this little session. So let me have a look at what we want to do. So we want to set up an EdDsa key, which is a little bit different to the RSA key, which is standard. Talking about standards, both ways are possible. So you can either use the Windows terminal, which is the Windows PowerShell, which is standard in Windows 10, and if you run the latest version of Windows, you should have SSH enabled via standard. If not, you need to update your Windows to the latest version, and then you can just use the commands we mention here in the script. So the key we will use, as I said, is the EdDsa, and there's a wiki page about EdDsa if you are interested in the nitty gritty. I'm not talking about that here. I can only tell you that it is A, more secure than RSA, and B, it is more compact and faster. So you just open your PowerShell or terminal or whatever you want, and then on the computer you're using to connect to your Ubuntu machine or to your Unix machine, and then you type in SSH keygen -t at 25,519. That should give you a key generation and ask you if you want to have a passphrase. So that means that if you put in a passphrase here, that is basically another level of security which secures your key with a password. But that in turn means that you have to type in the passphrase every time you log into your server. Of course, for me as a real paranoid, that isn't a problem at all. I'd rather type in the passphrase every time than leaving my key unencrypted. But that is your decision to make, so you can just leave that blank and then save your key to your hard disk. And that is another point. Every key is only so secure as the place you store it. So if a lot of people have access to your computer, they will probably have access to your keys as well. So store them somewhere where it's safe. And anyway, if you will use more than one machine, it is advisable to copy the keys on a USB stick so that you can copy them onto other machines as well. So now we have generated the key, and now we will copy the key to our machine, to our server. SSH minus copy minus ID, and then username and server IP. So your username and the server IP, which you can find either with ipconfig, or if you are on a Windows machine, you can find the server IP with ipconfig on the machine you want to connect to, but I assume you will know it. Okay, so after we've done that, we copied the key to our server. We test the key with SSH username at IP address, and that should log you into your remote machine. So if you've done that, the next step will be that we will disable the password, and we will disable the root login and make some other gimmicks which generally make our machine a little bit safer. So you use your favorite text editor, and we will edit the file sshd-config and not ssh-config. So we will edit the daemon file, which is the one for the server. We don't need the client file to change, we will need the server file. So don't forget the sshd_config, because that is the file which is necessary to change the password, the passwordless login and the root disable. Okay, so I will show you. I have just logged in to our ubuntu machine, and first of all we will change the port address. So that is how the file looks like, and to activate an option, you have to delete the hash key, and then you see it changes from blue, which is comment, to white, which is an instruction. So the first we do, I return to the, so we change the port to anything which is non-22. So that makes it more likely that any attack will fail, because they first would have to find the port to try to log into your machine anyway. So then we set the host key to SSH at 25.5.19 so that no other key is permitted to log into your machine. Then we change a few things like login grace time to 1 minute, so that means whoever has access to your machine has only 1 minute to finish the login. We set root login to no. We give it just one try, and we give a maximum of 5 open sessions. If you are very busy like we are, then you can double that, but I would not leave it for more than 10. Public key authentication needs to be altered to yes, and password authentication to no. We will have no users allowed with empty passwords. We will have no direct access to the computer via SSH. We will not allow somebody to alter the root directory. We will have no disclaimer what type of operating system or SH version we are using. And once you have done all that, you should be, so here you see it in all its glory. Empty challenge. You have reached the end of the file. There are a few more alterations in this machine, but I wouldn't advise you to take those because this is just because it's a test machine. And then you hit the Control and X and save your file. I don't need to save it because I have not done any alterations. And then you have basically done the hard work. Now you write down. Now you need to write down your port number you have altered your SSH access to. Write it somewhere where you find it, because it is a pretty daunting task to guess the port if you forget it. So the next step is to set the firewall. So we need to allow the access to the port, and then we leave the server. You just type exit, or you leave your remote machine. You just type exit. Next step is to set the firewall on your machine where you want to access your remote machine from. So in case of a Ubuntu machine, you need to type in UFW allow and then the port number /TCP. On Windows, you need to set the firewall so that you allow incoming and outgoing traffic on TCP port and the number you have just done. So now you can test your new passwordless login with SSH -P, that is your port number, and then 2230 or whatever port number you have chosen, and username, IP address, and you should be able to log in to your remote machine without typing in a password. And you should be unable to log into your remote machine with your user name and your IP address only. So if you choose another machine and you try to log into your remote machine where the SSH certificate is not stored, then you should be unable to do so. So that basically makes your server or your remote machine a lot more secure than running it with password, which makes it vulnerable to password attacks. And this will just make your server or your remote machine respond with sorry, no access. Nothing you can do here. So that is the security improvement with a passwordless login. And if this is something you would like to pursue, then I would like to introduce you to I'm the Nacho Man, and there is a GitHub project which is running for a few years now, yep, and it's a bit slow at the moment, but it is still alive, and you find it if you search for how to secure a Linux server. And as I said, I'm the Nacho Man, and here you find a very compact guide about security on a Linux server, regardless of the operating system you're actually running. And you find a lot of useful information and a lot of documentation about what is in the public domain and what you can do to secure your Linux server or your Linux machine. And if you want to plot and be part of the Chia project for the next 1 or 2 years, then you might want to spend some time thinking about security. Yeah, thank you very much for watching. That is a shorter video today, and I hope it gives you a hint on what is possible, and it wakes your appetite to do more to security so that you're not exposed to attacks from the internet. Thanks very much for watching, and have a very good day, and please like and subscribe if you like our videos.